Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. Today we're looking at Charybdis and Scylla by Xeccah. This is a new design from them. You may remember their username as Shotguns from the Coors Park fame. We've reviewed both of those parks in the past. This is a smaller design which really focuses on two attractions, as the name would imply, Charybdis and Scylla. So we've got a mythology-themed map here with some really interesting usage of objects and of colors and things. So it's something that I would say Xeccah is really good at, is putting together unique objects in unique ways and also sort of pushing the boundaries of some of the newer elements. So we'll get into that as we review and browse through this park. So let's get into it and start down here in this themed like plaza type area that's got this sort of Grecian type theming. A couple things you'll notice right off the bat are the usage of the new-ish rocks from, I think these are the fish rocks, and then we've got the half diagonals here. We've also have the low slope stairs as well, or ramps I suppose. So all sorts of new objects here. These awnings as well, kind of counteracting with the more traditional awnings as they were over here. A lot of sort of interesting object and color choices. So over here you have more of the muted colors. You've got the peaches and the reds and the tans and whites and blacks like you would sort of expect from this type of a theme. Over here you have some more interesting choices. The purple is a nice color that's brought in. The red and the yellow is sort of an interesting add. You've got this McDonald's looking building here with the big M and the red and yellow umbrellas. Sort of an odd foil, I suppose, to the rest of the stuff down here, but I like the bold color choices. And then also this more lush landscaping throughout. So landscaping doesn't really have a defined barrier and edge here into the pathways, but has more of this kind of haphazard way of sticking in here, and just some interesting usage like these stairs on this side, potted plants right here, and then just these kind of rock elements separating the planter from the actual pathway, of which the texture on everything is really great. Look at the kind of uniqueness of texture here. So using some of these kind of curved and crackled elements to separate the lighter colored space at the darker colored one. And then a couple of newer objects as well. Objects like these angled tables to give this a little bit of a more grid breaking feel, as well as these plants here, which is actually a ride. This is a hedge attraction. This is a specialty train type, so you can actually close this and make them go away. Kind of a neat way to do foliage. You can do it on curves, you can do it through loops and things like that, but very useful if you've been watching our Twitch series where I've been building our Blackpool style park. We've used them a couple times as well. So as we go up the stairs and up these ramps a little bit, we get into this more of a kind of first attractions of the park. So we've got this this swing ride right here, which is closed. I don't think it's operating, but nice looking swing, nice recreation of an S&S. Love the statues all around it as well. We've got the nice two-colored path here, using also Ace Fanatic's new signage elements, which actually I really like this detail here. So if we get our eyedropper tool and grab this, this is actually a banner here. It's a standing sign, so you can see it's this, but with the actual standing sign portion invisible. So if you make that visible, you can see it's just a standing sign, but in this case, it's now a banner. Super clever usage of objects. Really like that idea overall. I think it's done really well. Another one here, you can see this train passing. No engine, so it's a self-powered train. Nice usage of the ride edit plugin to let you pull off the actual train front as well, or engine as well. Beautiful landscape throughout, just as you would expect. Love these plants and colors through here. Some pretty bold usage of different flowers, I would say. So these objects you usually wouldn't necessarily see, and I think that's something that Xeccah does really well, is using objects that a lot of people would typically shy away from because they'd more or less be considered ugly per se. but done in a way that I think is pretty tasteful. So here's our first of the two attractions. This is Charybdis. This is a rapids ride. We've got our rotating platform that was built by Real Steel for head-to-head 9, I guess, and very well used, and nice feature that I kind of love seeing in general. So we've got an invisible track rapids ride here, and a lot of nice little details. So rapids elements here. We've got these curved waterfalls as well. Over here we've got a diagonal waterfall. So lots of those sorts of fun detail elements make the rapids what it is. A little bit of unfinishedness here, so a couple of supports and things like that, which is always a little bit of a shame, but it is a nice map in general. So you come back through here, another diagonal rapids drop, wrapping around here for the final climb up back and into the station here. Got some nice covered area in the queue. Is a quarter queue, which is sort of an interesting take on the quarter queue versus full tile queue argument, because I've always been a fan of the quarter queue, but I don't necessarily like the look of it, of course, because you can't really have guests line up and stand in it. So in this instance, where we are going to make this invisible, you can see these are all actually just scenery. So this is all scenery people throughout the whole thing. So you can make it look like they're standing in the quarter queue, but they're actually not moving. So kind of neat, and especially if you're viewing this quickly, you may not really pick up on that. So it's a good sort of fake out if you're trying to really achieve that look without actually having to do something more interesting as far as that goes. Here you can also see these hedges used in a pretty wide variety here along the curves. Nice curved pathways up to the station itself. So combined scenery on top of wood coaster track. So that's pretty nicely done. And we didn't even talk about the coaster track over here, which is just the water coaster track, actually, with 2 pieces invisible. So you turn that back on, you see the lattice and everything else. So lots of little tricks throughout, and I do love seeing those sorts of things, because you can apply it to really any kind of a park build, and it does really well. Nice half diagonal building here, really utilizing all those different grid breaking things. I love this collection of buildings here, sort of as it expands into the rockwork on the side here. This is more sort of traditional Greek looking building. Here also another section on the diagonal, or half diagonal as well. So as we make our way over here, we have a couple of little shops and bazaar, little outdoor shopping markets here. We've got our stalls, which if we go invisible again, you can see all those different stalls here, which are just ride elements. Nicely put together as well. And come all the way across to this side, and we're going to take a look at the coaster here in a second, but love this plaza. I'm a big fan of decorative paving and just line work on paving, and this is a very, very cool star element here coming off of this. So it's got the sort of Scylla just tentacles coming off almost from this main planter. So very well done and well put together. Bridge that just kind of goes off. This is a really weird kind of mind trick here with this diagonal cut as far as that goes. So it's a kind of an odd way to trim the map, but it's just another interesting trick. I feel like this is almost an effort to see how many kind of crazy weird tricks and things you could stick into a map. And I think they've certainly done a very good job with that. So here's the entrance to the coaster. I love this use of the Sphinx with the other curved elements here. We've got our quarter queue all the way up into the space that transitions into this half diagonal queue. We get into our scenery people again, going out onto this island, little queue cover right here, and then all the way back over and up into the station itself. Some really interesting architectural geometries here with this little curved exit here, this half diagonal bridge that goes across. Of course, a curved downhill exit path as well. They don't really necessarily use it because of the pack here, but it is a pretty neat setup. So let's watch the coaster itself. It is an Intamin looking, I assume it's an Intamin, triple launch ride, or I guess triple launch plus another. So similar to, say, Pantheon, for example. You still got some utilitarian details here, like the little ride operator booth and everything. But here we go, as we come out of the station, we get our first little inclined launch here into this roll, using the new pieces here from X7, which are always exciting to see, across this switch here. We're going to go up the top hat and roll back. We'll roll back into this curved spike. Then we'll go forward and up and over the top hat. Nice long elements here. Big 0G roll. Outward banked cornering. Double down. Another roll here and come on over and into the brakes. Here with some sloped brakes, not actually working, just visual, but through here. It is a little bit of an odd mix of, super highly themed, where you're looking kind of this area and it's just, themed to the nines, which is really beautiful and all that, and then you go over here to the launch area and you've got this sort of more utilitarian setup. You've got this back of house maintenance building, sort of clear view of the launch, and then over here the landscaping just kind of ends. It doesn't necessarily mean anything beyond a park could have, for example, spend all their money on this area and just add a ride that goes more into the back of house. So it's not necessarily unrealistic by any means. Visually it's a little bit jarring, I think, when you look at it and you come across to that. Same thing seeing these tanks and everything, but I always do like that look where you can see some of those back of house elements while still being immersed in the theming. So it's that sort of, you're not necessarily, say, Disney or Universal level of theming, but you're, heavy theming with some of those realistic details in there. So lots of little bits and pieces throughout. Like I said, this is mostly a map that's about the tricks. So learning brand new objects, or kind of trendy objects, we'll call them, like the half diagonals and the curved stairs, and some of these newer ride objects as well, like the hedges, which is a kind of a clever, interesting way to go about doing landscaping and putting them to use in interesting and unique ways. The coaster layout itself is pretty good. I kind of wish it was a different color, to be honest, because it would really pop out from the rest of it. As it stands right now, it kind of blends in nicely. It's thematically appropriate, but it would have been cool to see something a little bit brighter, perhaps. The supports are very well done. Let's not forget about those, because that is a challenge to make supports that look really good. This is a double layered track, so this is using the RMC single rail underneath of the looping coaster type track. We'll call it Premier or Sports Golf or whatever it may be. But we also have one I didn't point out on the half diagonal here as well, the lettering, which is a very nice touch as well. So lots of very nice little tricks and touches in here. And there's actually a lot of little Easter eggs in here, such as our face in the landscaping. I think that's Jappy, new element. Well, either way, you'll have to download this yourself and check out all of the little Easter eggs and everything in here. There's all sorts of stuff hidden throughout, so it bears some closer looks for a lot of things. But there's a lot of tricks and things you can take away from this as well, just to learn how to use objects in interesting ways, and just kind of seeing some of these newer objects and ride vehicles and things like that used for practical purposes, which I always appreciate when people try and set those types of things. But that's all we have for today. I will provide a link to the download for this park if you'd like to take a look at it, and you will need Open RCT2 to view this, so I'll have a link to that in the description as well. Also to all of my various channels for Twitch and Instagram, or if you want to enroll an Amusement Academy t-shirt. So all of those things and more in the description. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this park. It definitely split the votes on New Element. Did win the design award, but it had a pretty good spread of voting. So curious to hear what everybody thinks and what their thoughts are on the park. If there's any suggestions of things that you would like me to review in the future, please let me know that as well, because I'm all ears now that we're trying to get through some of this backlog. I'm just going to keep choosing those until we make some more progress through it. So until next time, we hope you enjoyed this one, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye now.